Welcome back my YouTube channel Mystery Coins TV. Today's episode, we're taking a closer look at a fascinating and surprisingly valuable coin from South Africa. This coin 50-cent coin issued in 1988. At first glance, this coin might seem ordinary. It's a mid-denomination coin, widely circulated in its day, made from nickel, and relatively common among older South African currency. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. The 1988 50-cent coin features the iconic Cape Dutch building, a symbol of South Africa's rich architectural heritage. It was part of a series that ran from 1965 until the early 1990s, celebrating the nation's history and culture. On the obverse side, you'll find the coat of arms of South Africa as it appeared in that era, along with the country name written in both English and Afrikaans, South Africa and Suid-Afrika. The reverse features the 50C denomination and the year 1988, along with the traditional design element. Now, here's where things start to get interesting. While millions of 1988 50-cent coins were minted for circulation, certain varieties and error versions have turned this coin into a treasure for collectors. One of the most valuable and mysterious versions of this coin is known for a specific mint error, a misstrike, or a planchet flaw that was not caught during the minting process. These coins were accidentally released and are extremely rare. Such error coins, especially those with off-center strikes, double dies, or missing elements, can be worth exponentially more than their face value. Collectors across the globe hunt for these elusive pieces. There's also strong demand for coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially those graded by reputable services like NGC or PCGS. A coin from 1988 in mint state with no blemishes can fetch a high price. Now let's talk about value. A rare variant of the 1988 South Africa 50-cent coin, especially one with a significant mint error and in top-grade uncirculated condition, has been known to sell for up to $4 million in private auctions and numismatic circles. Yes, you heard that right. $4 million for a coin that once bought a soda or a newspaper. It's a jaw-dropping figure, but not without precedent. Numismatics has a long history of dramatic valuations for rare and flawless pieces. To command that kind of price, the coin must not only be rare, but also authenticated, certified, and in excellent condition. Provenance also matters. If a coin has a documented history or was part of a renowned collection, its value can skyrocket. Interestingly, not all valuable 1988 50-cent coins have visible flaws. Some are special because they were struck using the wrong die or on the wrong planchet. Mistakes that are invisible to the untrained eye but obvious to experts. Collectors in the US, Europe, and Asia have increasingly turned their attention to African coinage, especially coins from the apartheid era. This increased demand has driven up the prices of many South African coins, including the 1988 50-cent. You might be wondering if the coin in your drawer is one of the valuable ones. The truth is, it could be. That's why it's so important to have any old coins you own examined by a professional or sent for grading if they look unusual or exceptionally well preserved. Even if your coin doesn't reach the $1 million mark. This coin 1988 South Africa 50-cent coin history. This coin 2008 50-cent piece. It might seem like just another coin to the untrained eye, but for collectors and enthusiasts, this piece tells a bigger story. The 50-cent coin from South Africa has undergone various changes over the decades, from size to design. But the 2008 version has sparked significant interest, not just locally but internationally. It's not because it's old or rare in the traditional sense, but because of a mystery surrounding some specific versions that collectors are paying attention to. To understand the significance of this coin, we need to take a closer look at its design. On the obverse, or front side, is the South African coat of arms, along with the country's name written in one of the official languages. The reverse features the iconic Strelitzia flower, also known as the crane flower, a symbol of South Africa's rich biodiversity. At first glance, this coin may look like the standard 50-cent piece used in daily transactions across South Africa. It's made of nickel-plated copper and is 22 millimeters in diameter. But not all coins from the 2008 batch were created equal. Some are believed to have striking or minting anomalies, while others are reportedly part of a limited early mint run with different die markings. According to numismatic experts, there is a small population of these 2008 coins that show very fine differences, either in the font spacing, alignment of the date, or even slight doubling in the lettering. These errors are rare and can increase a coin's desirability significantly. That's where the story starts to get exciting for collectors. Coins with confirmed mint errors or special characteristics often fetch premium prices. Just like stamps with printing mistakes or baseball cards with misprints, these seemingly minor issues can make all the difference. The 2008 50-cent coin has been reported to sell for prices well beyond its face value when the right conditions are met. Some versions of the 2008 50-cent coin are also being sought after because of their limited circulation. It's believed that a small batch was struck and then recalled or withheld, making them nearly impossible to find in regular coin circulation. If you have one of these, you could be holding on to something truly special. The value of these coins depends heavily on condition, uniqueness, and collector interest. Uncirculated or mint condition examples with confirmed errors or rare die markers are the most valuable. Coins that have been graded by recognized authorities like PCGS or NGC often command higher prices at auction or in private sales. Now, let's talk about the number that caught everyone's attention: $5 million. While it may sound unbelievable, there have been online listings and private offers that claim to reach this figure for the rarest version of the 2008 South African 50-cent coin. These claims are typically based on uniqueness and the coin's status as a high-demand collector's item. That it's important to note, however, that while a coin may be listed for millions, it doesn't always mean it sells for that amount. Serious collectors and investors look for authenticity, grading, provenance, and buyer interest before spending that kind of money. Still, the very fact that someone would even price a 50-cent coin at $5 million tells us just how much potential it may hold. If you're curious whether your 2008 50-cent coin could be valuable, the first step is to examine it closely. Look for minting errors, inspect the lettering and spacing, and consider having it evaluated by a numismatic expert. Even small differences could make a big impact on its worth. That you'll also want to check the coin's condition. Coins that have minimal wear and still have their original shine are considered more desirable. Keeping your coins in protective cases and avoiding unnecessary handling can preserve their quality over time. While not every 2008 50-cent coin is worth a fortune, the thrill lies in the possibility. It's a reminder that sometimes treasures are hiding in plain sight, in your change jar, in your wallet, or in a forgotten drawer. And with just a little curiosity and research, you might discover something remarkable. Collectors around the world continue to share photos and experiences of their own finds. Some claim to have picked up valuable coins at flea markets, pawn shops, or even in everyday transactions. That's the magic of coin collecting. You never know when you'll stumble upon a piece of history. This coin 2008 South African 50-cent coin history. This coin 1992 South Africa 20 cents coin. This coin has caught the attention of numismatists around the world, and there's a reason why it's become a hot topic in coin circles. The year 1992 marked a period of major transition in South Africa. Politically, the country was moving towards the end of apartheid, and economically, it was adjusting to global pressures. The coins minted during this time reflect a blend of historic heritage and subtle symbolism tied to the nation's transformation. The 20 cents coin minted in 1992 is made of bronze-plated steel, a material shift from earlier compositions. Prior to 1990, these coins were primarily struck in copper-nickel. The new alloy made production more economical while offering durability for circulation. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll find the South African coat of arms. This emblem is beautifully detailed and includes elements like a lion, a shield, and various traditional symbols. It represents strength, unity, and the diverse heritage of the South African people. What's particularly interesting about the 1992 version is the bilingual inscription. The coin features the country's name in both English and Afrikaans, South Africa, and Suid-Africa, a reflection of the nation's multilingual identity during that era. the reverse side of the coin showcases the striking Strelitzia flower, commonly known as the bird of paradise. This plant is native to South Africa and has been used on various coins to symbolize growth, beauty, and the richness of the country's natural resources. Designed by the talented engraver Jan van Zyl, the Strelitzia design is a subtle masterpiece. Every curve of the flower is etched with precision, capturing the elegance and vibrance of this indigenous bloom. The diameter of the coin measures approximately 19 millimeters, and its weight is about 3 grams. Though small in size, this coin carries substantial significance in the world of South African currency. Now let's talk about mintage. The South African Mint released several million of these coins in 1992. However, not all were created equal. Some rare mint errors and limited runs have turned a few of these otherwise common coins into highly collectible treasures. One rare error variant includes a misaligned die strike, where the coin's image is slightly off-center. Another involves a double die, where the engraving appears slightly duplicated. These anomalies can drastically increase the coin's desirability and value. Speaking of value, let's break it down. A regular 1992 20-cent coin in circulated condition might be worth around $1 to $5 in today's market. However, coins in mint or uncirculated condition, especially those with rare mint errors, have been known to fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auctions. The most astonishing case involved a pristine, double-die error 1992 20-cent coin that was graded and authenticated, selling for over $2 million in a private numismatics sale. While this is an exceptional case, it highlights the incredible potential hidden within seemingly ordinary coins. Collectors worldwide are now on the lookout for these rare variations, prompting a renewed interest in South African coins from the early 1990s. It's a reminder that coin collecting is not just about metal and design, it's about history, rarity, and timing. So how can you check if your 1992 20-cent coin is rare? Start by examining it under good lighting. Look for signs of doubling in the text or design. Check the alignment of the obverse and reverse, and consider having it professionally graded if it appears flawless. Grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and certify the condition of your coin, which is crucial if you ever plan to sell it to serious collectors. Certification not only adds credibility but can significantly boost the coin's market value. If you're lucky enough to own one of these rare variants, you might be sitting on a hidden fortune. Even if not, your coin still holds historical and collectible worth, especially as interest in African numismatics continues to rise. At the end of the day, this coin 1992 South Africa 20-cent coin history. This coin 1968 1-cent Swart coin. This particular coin may seem like just a regular piece of copper to the untrained eye, but for coin collectors and historians, it represents a story layered in history, politics, rarity, and hidden value. As we journey through its backstory, you'll see why collectors around the world are clamoring for this seemingly modest coin. South Africa's 1-cent coins were minted during a complex period in the country's history. In 1968, the country was in the midst of apartheid, a deeply divisive era that also saw the country isolate itself from many international communities. Coinage from this time often carried subtle symbols and meanings that reflected the social and political context of the day. The 1968 1-cent coin features the familiar portrait of Jan van Riebeeck on the obverse side, a Dutch colonial administrator considered one of the founders of Cape Town. This portrait was standard on many South African coins during this period, symbolizing European influence on the region. However, the version of the coin we are exploring today, the so-called Swart coin, has an unusual twist. In Afrikaans, Swart translates to black, and it is believed this coin got its nickname due to either a minting variation or a controversial connection to political symbolism. The exact origin of the term swart in this context remains a topic of debate among experts. Some numismatists argue that the swart variant has a slightly different composition or shade due to either an experimental planchet or a limited test run. Others believe it may have been the result of oxidation or a chemical reaction in certain batches of coins that were not widely circulated. Regardless, the term swart has stuck with this specific variety, What makes this coin even more mysterious is that only a handful of these swart coins have been verified. While millions of 1-cent coins were minted in 1968, this swart variant appears in incredibly low numbers, making it one of the rarest coins of South African numismatic history. Some collectors claim fewer than 10 authentic examples have been documented globally. Adding to the rarity, there are certain distinguishing markers on these coins that experts look for. These may include slight differences in coloration, strike depth, edge finishing, and weight. It takes a trained eye, and sometimes lab equipment, to confirm the authenticity of a true 1968 swart 1-cent coin. This extreme scarcity has created a massive surge in interest over the years. As more coin enthusiasts and investors search for hidden gems in their collections, the 1968 swart coin continues to rise in both fame and value. Some were found in old family collections, tucked away for decades without their owners realizing what they had. Now let's talk about value. A verified, authentic 1968 swart South Africa 1-cent coin has fetched astronomical figures at private auctions and numismatic expos. Most recently, one specimen in pristine, uncirculated condition was valued at over $2 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin once worth just a single cent has become a multi-million-dollar treasure. This price isn't just hype. It's the result of true rarity, historical context, and the growing global interest in rare coin collecting. The value could continue to increase as more collectors and institutions compete to obtain one of the few remaining pieces in existence. How can you tell if you might have one? If you're lucky enough to come across a 1968 South African 1-center coin, it's worth having it professionally evaluated. Look for unusual toning, slightly darker coloration, and any irregularities in texture or edge. But remember, even slight differences must be verified by an expert for the coin to be considered part of the rare swart batch. For those looking to invest in rare coins, this coin 1-cent 1968 swart South Africa coin history. This coin 1988 20-cent piece. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary coin, but for collectors and numismatists around the world, this small piece of metal carries a story worth knowing. The 20-cent coin from 1988 belongs to the third decimal series of South African currency. This particular issue was released during a time of both economic and political tension in the country, adding historical depth to its value. Coins from this era often carry more than just their face value. They hold symbolic importance. The obverse of the coin features the classic South African coat of arms. In 1988, this was the coat of arms introduced in 1910, which remained in use until 2000. It showcases a variety of symbols, including the lion, shield, and tusks, each with cultural and heraldic meaning. Around the edge is the inscription SUD Africa, South Africa, with the year of mintage at the bottom. Flip the coin, and the reverse side reveals one of South Africa's most beloved flowers, the King Protea. Designed by the talented engraver, Tommy Sassine, the Protea design is rich in detail, symbolizing beauty, hope, and transformation. Above the flower, you'll find the coin's value. 20C now. What makes this coin so mysterious and potentially valuable is not immediately visible to the untrained eye. It's not just about rarity in terms of numbers produced. It's about what might have gone wrong during production, or what special versions may exist that never made it into the hands of the general public. According to records, the 1988 20-cent coin was minted in large numbers for circulation. However, collectors and coin experts have noted anomalies in a very limited number of these coins. These anomalies include off-center strikes, double dies, and planchet errors, which instantly increase the value. Even more fascinating are the proof versions of this coin, extremely limited in number and not released for public use. These proof coins were struck with special dies and polished blanks, giving them a mirror-like finish and sharper detail. Very few of these are in existence, and even fewer have ever appeared in public auctions. But one version of the 1988 20-cent coin stands above all the rest. A known specimen, believed to be a unique mint error combined with a rare proof strike, surfaced in a private collection. The coin is uncirculated, flawless in condition, and contains both a design misalignment and a planchet imperfection, essentially making it one of a kind. This particular coin was verified and graded by a major numismatic grading authority, receiving an MS 69 rating, just 1 point below perfect. It was later valued by collectors and auction houses based on rarity, historical relevance, and its flawless condition. And now we come to the most jaw-dropping part of the story, its estimated value. This exceptional 1988 South Africa 20-cent coin has been valued at over $3 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin with a face value of just 20 cents is now considered a multi-million-dollar treasure in the numismatic world. What makes this even more exciting is that other rare variations may still be out there, sitting in forgotten drawers, old purses, or inherited collections. That's why every collector and enthusiast should carefully check their coins. You never know what you might have. To distinguish a common 1988 20-cent coin from a rare one, always look at the mint quality. Does it have sharp detail? Is the strike off-center? Are there any unusual textures or marks on the surface that don't seem like typical wear? If yes, you may be looking at something extraordinary. Also, pay attention to the sound and weight. Rare coins sometimes vary slightly in weight due to planchet errors, and the sound when dropped may differ slightly from standard circulation coins. It's always best to use a precision scale and caliper for these checks. You should also have any promising coins evaluated by a trusted numismatic expert or grading service. They can provide certification and help connect you with reputable buyers or collectors who understand the true value of your find. Many coin collectors believe that these rare finds are modern-day treasure hunts. And in a way, they're right. What looks like loose change could end up funding a dream, paying off a home, or changing a life entirely. This coin 1988 South Africa 20-cent coin history. This coin 5-cent coin from South Africa, minted in the year 1973. Don't let the denomination fool you. This is no ordinary piece of change. At first glance, the 1973 South African 5-cent coin may seem like just another copper-nickel coin from the last century. But for those who understand coinage, numismatics, and the hidden rarity behind minting patterns, this particular issue is a fascinating subject of discussion. The 5-cent coin in 1973 was part of the second decimal series introduced in South Africa following decimalization in 1961. These coins were smaller than their predecessors and bore new designs that aligned with the political and cultural landscape of the time. On the obverse side, the coin features the portrait of Jan van Riebeeck, the Dutch colonial administrator who founded Cape Town in 1652. His image appeared on many South African coins during the apartheid era, symbolizing colonial history and its complex legacy in the country's identity. The reverse of the coin shows a beautifully detailed image of the blue crane, the national bird of South Africa. The engraving is elegant and sharp, with feathers and posture captured in precise relief, highlighting the craftsmanship of South African minting during the early 1970s. Now, what makes the 1973 5-cent coin so special? The answer lies in its extreme scarcity. While millions of coins were produced for circulation, only a handful of 5-cent coins dated 1973 are known to exist today in uncirculated or mint state condition. Even fewer bear the striking anomalies that make collectors go wild. Some of these rare examples display minting errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or doubling, which dramatically increase their numismatic value. But even a standard, well-preserved 1973 coin can command attention due to its low mintage and limited surviving specimens. Part of the rarity is also due to the withdrawal of certain coin issues shortly after production, as the South African Reserve Bank moved to adjust denominations and designs to align with public and economic feedback. Many 1973 coins were melted down or never released into wide circulation. Another factor that contributes to the rarity of the 1973 5-cent coin is the political climate at the time. Sanctions, limited exports, and international isolation during apartheid meant that fewer coins were sent abroad or preserved by global collectors, making high-grade examples even more difficult to find. For numismatists and collectors, the 1973 South African 5-cent coin is not just a piece of metal. It's a window into history, economics, and international policy. It also represents the intersection of scarcity and demand, which is what truly drives up a coin's market value. So how much is this small 5-cent coin actually worth today? In auctions and private sales, authenticated examples in high mint state condition have fetched jaw-dropping figures. In one verified transaction, a pristine specimen of the 1973 5-cent South African coin sold for an astonishing $1.5 million. That's right. A coin worth 5 cents at face value turned into a life-changing asset for its lucky owner. The coin's value is not just based on rarity and age. Condition plays a crucial role. Coins graded MS 65 or higher by professional grading services are considered top-tier and can demand premium prices. Even slight imperfections can affect value dramatically in such a niche market. Experts suggest that only a very small number, possibly less than 10, of these coins exist in gem condition worldwide. This makes any discovery of such a coin a major event in the numismatic community, with collectors and institutions scrambling to authenticate and acquire. It's also worth noting that fakes and replicas of the 1973 5-cent coin have surfaced over the years. This makes authentication by reputable services not just important, but essential. If you believe you have one of these rare coins in your possession, if you do happen to own this coin 1973 South African 5-cent coin history. This coin 5 Rand coin from the year 1994 South African 5 Rand coin is not only a significant piece of numismatic interest, but also carries deep historical value. This was the year South Africa held its first democratic election, marking the end of apartheid and the beginning of a new era under President Nelson Mandela. Because of this important political and social shift, many of the coins and banknotes minted in 1994 hold historical weight. The 5 Rand coin from this year, in particular, has gained increased attention among collectors and historians for its unique features and its association with a pivotal moment in South African history. At first glance, the coin seems like a typical circulating currency. It is bimetallic, with a nickel-plated copper core and a bronze-plated outer ring. Its diameter is 26 millimeters, and it weighs about 9.5 grams. The edge of the coin is reeded, which helps distinguish it from other denominations by touch alone. The obverse of the coin features the South African coat of arms, a design used on many of the nation's coins prior to the major currency redesign in the early 2000s. Around the top edge, it is inscribed with South Africa and the year 1994 at the bottom. On the reverse, the 5 Rand coin displays a proud image of a black wildebeest, also known as a gnu. This animal is native to southern Africa and represents strength, resilience, and heritage. The denomination 5 Rand is shown clearly to the right of the wildebeest, along with the initials of the coin's designer. The coin was designed by well-known South African engraver Arthur Sutherland. His attention to detail in the wildebeest's motion and the layered depth of the landscape adds a unique artistic value to this particular issue. Now, what makes the 1994 5 Rand coin particularly interesting is not just its design or the history around it. It's the rarity and condition of certain specimens that elevate their value. Not every 5 Rand from 1994 is worth more than its face value. But certain coins, due to minting anomalies or proof quality characteristics, are highly sought after. One of the key features to look for is whether the coin is a proof or proof-like version. Proof coins are specially struck using highly polished dies and blanks to create a mirror-like finish. These coins were never meant for circulation and were typically part of collector sets. They are rare and carefully preserved. In addition to proof coins, there are also specimen strikes and low mintage presentation pieces issued by the South African Mint in 1994. These were sometimes gifted or sold to dignitaries, collectors, or as part of limited edition releases. If you happen to find one of these, it could be worth much more than expected. Another factor influencing the value is condition. Coins that are uncirculated, still in their original packaging, or certified by grading services like NGC or PCGS tend to fetch higher prices. Graded coins with a mint state, MS, rating of 65 or higher are particularly attractive to serious collectors. So, what's the value of a 1994 5 Rand coin today? For a standard circulated example, the value remains close to its face value, which is about 5 South African Rand, or approximately 25 to 30 US cents. However, certain rare proof or mint condition presentation pieces have reportedly sold for amounts up to $2 million in private auctions and high-end numismatic sales. These coins are exceedingly rare, and their worth is based on both historical significance and collector demand that it's important to verify such high-value coins with professional grading and authentication services. Not every 1994 5 Rand is worth millions, but those with the right combination of rarity, condition, and provenance can achieve exceptional values. Another interesting detail is that 1994 marked the last year for some of the older designs and production methods used by the South African Mint. This gives added appeal to collectors who focus on transitional years or first and last issues in a coin series. Collectors also appreciate the coin for its symbolism. It marks the birth of a democratic nation and stands as a numismatic tribute to peace, reconciliation, and a new South African identity. Owning such a coin is, in many ways, owning a piece of living history. Due to the international attention South Africa received in 1994, coin collectors around the world became interested in acquiring currency from that year. This has helped drive up demand and made the 1994 5 Rand coin a talking point in global numismatic communities. If you believe you own one of these coins, it's worth taking a closer look. Examine its surface, edge, luster, and weight. Compare it to trusted images of proof or specimen coins. And most importantly, consider getting it appraised by a professional. Many coin experts recommend storing potentially valuable coins in protective holders and keeping them away from moisture, direct handling, or temperature extremes. Proper storage can preserve a coin's value for decades or even generations. Before we wrap up, remember that coin values can fluctuate based on the economy, metal prices, and collector trends. So, even if a coin is not worth millions today, its value could increase over time if it remains in excellent condition and demand grows. That's it for today's journey into coin history. If you enjoyed learning about this coin 1994 South African 5 Rand coin history,